Welcome. Good morning, afternoon or evening, whatever it is where you are. I'm Nigel Bailey, landscape and astro photographer. Welcome. I am back in the New Forest. I haven't been here to do a shoot for quite some time. And so there's a number of things on the agenda for this morning and this afternoon. Some of it is just seasonal and some of it is kind of longer term news about what I'm doing and the channel. So I'll come on to a little bit of that later. But in the meantime, what's brought me out specifically here today, apart from the rain, and the rain is actually part of it, is the season. So we're in that kind of what's the word? Transition period between summer and autumn. Not quite in autumn yet. The leaves haven't really turned that much, but it is a bit of an early autumn. But particularly what has happened over the last week and a bit is that the weather has broken. We've had this long, hot and very dry period. But the last week or two has been pretty wet. And with a bit of a change of the season coming, I'm hoping that some fungi are going to appear. And that's why I'm here. So I have come to a place that I have been to previously in the New Forest, where I know that if it's fungi season, it's pretty likely we're going to have fungi here. And so this is my little test spot, if you like. This is my, what's the word? Litmus test. That's the one I was thinking of. Takes me back to school and chemistry classes and all that kind of stuff. This is my litmus test, this site, for whether or not the fungi have yet returned. Now, I do have, I confess, one further reason for being out today, and that's because those wonderful people at Kentfaith and K&FConcepts provided me with this, well, both this tripod actually, but also with the geared head. And I have done a review on this recently during a night shoot. Didn't get an awful lot of coverage, and I wasn't very well at the time. So I said to K&F that I would do a little bit more of a review on this in the daylight with fungi season coming up, and I'm hoping that if I find some fungi today, this will be an opportunity to spend a bit of time doing that. Well, the bad news is that the fungi are not here, and so that is a bit of a disappointment. And so these logs down here in season would be absolutely covered in fungi, certainly in my previous experience, and I've shot many fungi shots here before, but at the moment, I'm afraid, not a sign, not a peep, absolutely nothing that I can see at the moment in terms of fungi. So I think we're still a few weeks away from it, but all is not lost. I'm going to have a bit of a walk and a wander and just see if there is anything interesting to photograph up this path here. So let's go. So part of the reason I think all is not lost is that we've got some quite nice light. The sun is in and out, so we've got some dappled sunlight, if you like that, but also the woodland is very wet, and that means some nice saturated colours. And I am still going to keep my eyes peeled for fungi. In the meantime, just some more general woodland shots. So I'm quite drawn to this scene. I do like the path leading into the scene and the brighter light at the end. That really draws the eye. It's quite a nice little scene, this one. And so I've taken a couple of shots. What really caused me to pause here was this tree here on the right hand side. And that's because there is just so much texture in it. And so I have tried to set up something of a shot with this one just to bring out some of those textures. It's a bit of a something and nothing shot, to be honest, in that this is one of those subjects where you never really can do it justice. It's a very impressive tree. It's large, it's really tall, but it's not particularly standing out on its own. I do like the way the light is catching it and drawing out some of the detail in the bark. So I've taken the shot and we'll see what I can do with that in post-processing. So we have this other tree here, and this one definitely has some merit. And while the sun is out, I think I'm going to grab that. Okay, so for this shot, I really don't want the background in focus. I want this tree to stand out. And at this distance, I'm not really that happy with the perspective. So I'm going to go further away from the tree and use a longer focal length. And that will also help me throw the background out of focus a little bit more. And if that shot is any good, here's the shot. So I found a lovely little scene here, and this is where this geared head is going to come into its own. So I've set this shot up for some macro photography, and I think what I'm looking at is an acorn husk, something like that. And it's just sitting on this old tree stump. Here you go, so this lovely little thing here, it's tiny, isn't it? And it's on these mosses on this old tree stump. I'll just show you the wider view. It's just this tiny little thing in this big forest scene. And sometimes on a day like this, particularly when the fungi aren't out, we find these other little tiny landscapes to shoot. Now, because I want to get in really close to this, then that means I need great accuracy when it comes to the tripod and framing the shot. And this is just really difficult to do with a normal tripod head, but not least because the weight of the camera and the give that you tend to have in the tripod, when you release, when you try to lock it off, just generally tends to mean that you don't get an accurate setup, and you're sort of guessing. Now, with this one, as I adjust the tripod here, you can see that I can make really fine adjustments. I can make sure that this is completely level here. If I just want to go down just a little bit and reframe it just ever so slightly, then I can do that with these very subtle changes with the geared head. And if I just zoom out a bit so you can see what I'm doing here, we've just got this nice little control here, and this just makes it so easy to make those fine adjustments. And similarly, when it comes to the lateral direction with this one here, we can go left and we can go right. In this case, I want to get it right dead center, breaking a few rules there, you know. So there we go, we're right in the middle there pretty much. close enough as far as I'm concerned, and that means that I can really frame this shot beautifully. And so if we come in close here, if this shot is any good, then here is that shot. Now, I mentioned that there was another thing that I wanted to talk about today. Oh yeah, regarding the geared head, I've put a link in the description for that. If you want to get hold of one of those geared heads yourself, then you can do that through the link in the description. And you do, of course, get a 17% discount off that if you use the code Nigel Bailey when you are checking out. I think at the time of writing, net of that discount, there's something like about £155. It's around about that sort of amount. I'll put the amount on screen. And so I get some kind of kickback on that. I think I get about 8%, something like that. I think so far I've earned a whopping £12 something in terms of kickbacks from Kentfaith, so I'm not going to get rich fast on it. Right, so back to the other topic that I had in mind, change of angle here, that I had in mind for today. So back to the other topic that I had in mind for today, and that is this, that over the last few months I have seen a huge drop-off in the level of attention that my YouTube channel has been getting. And one thing that I have noticed particularly is that the astro work gets a lot less attention. And so the more astro or night photography that I do, the less attention my site as a whole appears to be getting. And I think that is because I am confusing those who come to visit my channel as to what it's all about. And so I have seen ranges from several thousand views on some of my reviews about the D300, for example, down to as few as just over 100 views. And when you've traveled 500 miles to go and take a shot of the night sky and put really literally tens of hours into the post-production work on that, I've got to tell you, it's pretty depressing to get 110 views or 120 views. And so I have made a decision that I am going to split my channels. I don't want to stop doing the night photography because I really enjoy it, but equally I don't want to confuse the people who watch my channel as to what it's about. And so I will have two channels. I will have this main one, which will be for things like, you know, my landscape and woodland photography, daytime photography of the kind that you've been used to watching if you're a regular viewer of my channel, with the occasional relevant equipment review. And then I shall set up another channel with a name yet to be finalized that I will advertise in due course, and that will be dedicated specifically to the night photography and only to night photography. So that will be light painting, it'll be Milky Way shots, and perhaps even the occasional bit of pseudo deep field photography. So let me know what you think about that in the comments as to whether or not you think that is a good idea. If you're watching this, the chances are that you have been one of my followers for some time, and you, for whatever reason, enjoy this peculiar content that I put up. It might be that you're watching this channel for the first time, but either way, I'd be quite interested to know what you think about this proposal, or this intention really, to set up a completely separate Astro channel. Doesn't mean that if you're used to watching this channel, that you won't be able to see it. You will be able to subscribe to both channels. So once I've got that set up, I'll announce details on here. But in the meantime, do let me know. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's content. See you next time. Bye for now.